My name is Lily. When I was out shopping at the supermarket with my husband Kyle, something unbelievable happened. Since we always buy a week's worth of groceries and household items at the supermarket, we can only come shopping on weekends when our days off coincide. Even so, my husband always says with a bright smile, "I enjoy shopping with Lily at the supermarket every Sunday." He is slender, wears glasses, and has a thin frame, but he has a kind personality, and I love my husband for that. Among the products in the store, what caught our attention were the retort foods from overseas. It's no secret that my husband and I share a hobby of trying unusual retort foods, especially retort curry from foreign countries. Today, we bought Thai curry. As we walked through the aisles, looking at other products that sparkled our interest, we spotted a couple ahead of us wearing flashy clothes. They looked like rude and uncultured people. They had long blonde hair and were wearing baggy jerseys. They occupied the aisles, and as I passed by to grab some items, they suddenly looked at me and pointed their fingers saying, "Look at this. It looks so disgusting. Who'd even buy this? It's probably Japanese curry." "Haha, you're right." They laughed, but I could hear their conversation, which clearly lacked intelligence. Despite the lively atmosphere in the store, the woman's voice echoed throughout. Those around seemed to avoid passing through this aisle. When she noticed my surprise and made eye contact, she went, "Geez, look at all these people. They must be loaded." "What are these people?" I froze. "For now, let's take the next aisle so we don't get involved with them," my husband whispered to me, and we quickly left the area. I heard a clicking noise from behind, followed by the sound of someone sighing in annoyance. "What an annoying bunch of people. They have no shame," the woman muttered. I wished my husband would tell them off for their rude behavior, but I knew it was useless to expect that of him. He was small in stature, wore glasses, and lacked any visible muscles. His general nature made him too meek to ever get angry at anyone. Even when I would yell at him for no reason, he never retorted and would simply listen to my complaints until my anger subsided. Knowing he couldn't win a fight, my husband always tried to avoid people who looked like trouble. The following week, Lily went grocery shopping with her husband again. Instead of the usual neighborhood supermarket, they visited a new grocery store located inside a recently opened mall. They were there for the grand open sale, which offered free facial tissue, laundry detergent, and other items for every $10 spent. With everything becoming more expensive lately, they wanted to save as much as they could. Additionally, since they were in a shopping mall, they enjoyed browsing hand in hand before doing their actual shopping. It feels like we're back to our dating days. "Well, you have always been beautiful and young since then, haven't you?" "Oh, you!" They playfully engaged in conversation like a silly couple. The store was particularly busy during its first weekend, and the staff were doing their best to keep up with the sale. They had a wide range of food items that were not usually found at their regular grocery store, and they were also sold at a discounted price. Lily couldn't decide what to buy. "The meat looks good, and the frozen pizza is cheap. I don't know what to get." "Yeah." As I walked past the meat section, I saw that couple from last week again, and our eyes met again. The husband said, "Let's go that way." I nodded in agreement, and we turned right with our cart. Suddenly, a woman jumped out and hit our cart. "Ouch! Wait a minute!" she called out from behind. Hesitantly, we turned around to face her. "Hey, old lady, that hurt, and you're in the way," the woman taunted me. "Come on, don't look so scared." I rolled my eyes. There's no way they have any kind of aura. Even animals don't attack just because someone looks at them. "Come on, man. Seriously? That's a bit rude, isn't it? We were just shopping. You shouldn't judge people by their appearance." The husband joined in with a half smile. I looked over at my husband, who let out a sigh and looked down. "Don't ignore us. Or do you think that people like us aren't worth talking to? That's super disrespectful, you know. What kind of education did your parents give you? The man's tone was now angry. The woman stood with her arms crossed, tapping her sandals on the ground. I'm more curious about what kind of education they received. I wonder how someone can raise a person who can make others so unhappy in such a short time. I'm curious if there's a book on how to raise such a person. When I was about to lose my temper, my husband said, "Please, stop. If we made you feel uncomfortable, we apologize. We are sorry." As he bowed his head, the couple burst out laughing. What? Do you think it's just a matter of apologizing after bumping into someone? And I was really hurt, you know? Hey, if you were an adult, isn't it better to show sincerity with money? The man approached and patted my husband's shoulder while laughing. My husband enjoyed it while trembling slightly. When I tried to go away, the woman came towards me too, looking up and down from my head to my toes as if licking me with her gaze. You must be his wife. You wear a cheap bag with a poor style. You couldn't have gotten married if it wasn't for this man, could you? It's hilarious. I was about to hit her for those words, but my husband apologized. I'm really sorry. Please forgive us. As we stood there, the shop assistant, who should have noticed our situation, was watching from afar, but she just let it pass. Before we knew it, a few onlookers had gathered around us. My husband kept his head down and apologized, but the man raised his voice and said, "I don't want your apologies. Why can't you pay up quickly? You're embarrassing yourself in front of your wife. Don't you feel ashamed?" He then grabbed my husband by the collar. I looked around for the shop assistant to ask for help. That woman, perhaps annoyed by my actions, glared at me and said, "Are you looking for the shop assistant, old lady? But we're the real victims here. We were just shopping when we were made to feel terrible. And yet, why do you look inconvenienced? You should apologize too, not just your husband." Her low-level intelligence was evident, but I decided to apologize anyway, following my husband's lead. "We're sorry for making you feel uncomfortable, but please believe us when we say we didn't intend to offend you. We truly apologize." I lowered my head as well. The woman then pinched my arm hard. When I let out a cry of pain, she laughed loudly. "Give me your money. Anything will do." I was at my wit's end, but I knew that exploding in anger would be pointless, since my husband was keeping his cool. So I looked at him instead. "Let's run away." "Hey now, what are you gonna do? Your wife got hurt, 'cause you won't even apologize to us properly. It's 'cause you're not showing any sincerity. You know what adults do when they show sincerity, right?" As he said this, my husband started to walk away, but the woman grabbed his arm. Suddenly, my husband's face turned into an angry expression I had never seen before. "Get a job." "What?" Taken aback by his sudden outburst, I was shocked when the man suddenly collapsed to the ground. "Huh?" Not understanding the situation, the man let out a pitiful cry. I felt the same way. My husband, who was always so kind, had not only raised his voice, but had also pinned down a man who was larger than himself. "Listen up. Money is something you earn by working hard and sweating for it. It's not something you demand for some stupid reason like this." "What?" If you want a lot of money, study hard, get into a good university, get lots of qualifications, and work hard at a good company. Whatever you do, don't turn to a life of crime. Got it? What? What? The man had only said what the whole time. I understood these feelings, though. I was also confused by my husband's sudden change in behavior. "I'm telling you to stop. Besides, if you hit someone, it will be assault, and your parents will be devastated when you end up in jail. Let's not be unfilial," said my husband. "Shut up. That doesn't matter. I'm just pissed that you guys made fun of me. That's all there is to it. I won't let anyone complain," that guy said. "Old lady, you too. If you mess with us, you'll regret it. You're just a mess waiting to happen," that woman said, grinning at me and the store employee. The two of them looked at each other and grinned, and I started to get ready to run away as they clenched their fists and looked like they were about to attack us. Just then, my husband shouted, "Officer, what are you guys doing?" The police officer's voice echoed. "Why is the police here?" the lady asked, and the store employee came back. "Are you okay?" he asked, and to my surprise, he was someone I knew. "Oh, come to think of it, you're my father-in-law, right?" I said as I stared at the police officer. The police officer smiled at me and said, "I was just on patrol, and it's a good thing I was. I was able to come right away like this." "I'm sorry." "Thank you," I said. "Don't worry about it. I'm just doing my job. It's our duty as police officers to crack down on troublemakers," he said. His dad listened to what happened and walked up to the couple. "Well, according to my son, you two are quite naughty, huh?" The man tried to laugh it off. No, just kidding." "That's right, father-in-law. This guy even demanded money from my husband. If you hadn't come, who knows what would have happened to us." "Don't say unnecessary things, old lady. You have no right to call me an old lady." "Oh, please." By the way, I belonged to the chorus club when I was a student, and I was famous for having the loudest voice. The woman was so frightened when she heard my loud voice right next to her. "You are ruining your cute face. Relax, relax." And the husband began to rub my shoulders. "Ha ha ha. If you had attacked my son and daughter-in-law, you would have been in big trouble. I've taught my son all kinds of arrest techniques." With a smile, father-in-law put his hand on the couple's shoulders. Completely frightened by his words, the couple began to shake and cry. Father-in-law smiled at us and then took the couple by the scruff of their necks and led them outside the shop. The couple was put in a police car, and the onlookers dispersed. Then the shop assistant, who had been watching us from a distance, came up to us and said, "I'm really sorry. As someone who is supposed to help customers, I'm sorry that I froze up. I'm really sorry. I would have probably done the same thing if I were in their shoes, so there's no need to worry." Lily comforted her. The shopkeeper bowed her head and disappeared into the back of the store. "Now then, should we continue our shopping? Or, look, your favorite curry is here." "Really? Let's buy it quickly and go home." Hand in hand, we resumed our shopping, never expecting to encounter such an event at the supermarket. However, I was satisfied because I got to see a surprising side of my husband that I didn't know before. A few days later, we heard that the couple had escaped while being interrogated by the police, but they were unfortunately caught when they crashed into a traffic sign while fleeing in a police car. They ended up committing more crimes and were sent to separate prisons. Shortly after that, I found out that I was pregnant. My husband supported me even more kindly than before when he learned about it. If I had such a kind and reliable husband, I was convinced that he would protect our child from any harm. With that conviction, I waited eagerly for the day when our child would be born, together with my beloved husband.